Hey guys, this is Tigress coming back to you with Minecraft Craftymon. And today we are going to be finishing a few things off and finally getting a few things complete. And of course I have to start the episode when it's raining, although, we'll say, kinda looks nice. But yeah, so guys, we finish off a few things and a few things be getting added to the list of some things I need to do at some point. Now, guys, in between, like, this happened, I think it was like, a time recording, I think it was like this morning. Because I came on because I went and did a Cape Rica heist, came on to essentially, waste some time and to basically get a few things done while I waited before I can go redo. And I was like, you know what? I'll let Squawk Shadowgale, that get a tiny bit closer to level 20. It won't evolve. It evolved. I was not recording. But the thing looks. Part of me's like, this thing looks really cool. Part of me's like, yeah. Um, I kind of do prefer Moonlight. But at the same point, like, ah, you look a lot more cooler like that. Like that, I think, oh, that looks cool. Then I see it, oh, it's just a weasel. But then I look at, like, these things, and it's like, okay, you're just a giant porcupine. But you do look kind of cool. Like, guys, my team will 100% be just changing at points. Yeah. But, also, guys, the reason I have got a stone shovel is because, I'll explain that in a second. First, I'm sleeping. It's quite simply, I was like, I need snow from my doghouse because I like doing the floor out of snow. It looks a lot more comfortable and cozy. So I was like, I've already grabbed, like, I grabbed enough to make basically two snow golems. So I was like, I don't really have anywhere to for them, so you know what? I'll contaminate a room down here. And that's what I did. So 3 by 3. Now I'm gonna go quickly grab a block, and so I was like, that'll be fine. Yeah, chucked it all in here. Basically, I just chucked all the cobblestone in here. Also, guys, I'll explain this actually. This, I was like, what can I do with the additional space? It's, I can't think of anything I'm gonna need this big space for, and I was like, you know what? An office. There's a little bed in here for when I'm working late, and overall, I like it. It took me a little bit of a while. Thankfully, I did manage to get a decent bit of pale oak. Like, I managed to get just enough. And so, yeah, so you've got, like, the stairs all around with the slabbed roof, and then the exact same around here, although I will say, wasn't exactly fun. And guys, it does go all the way around. Like, it physically does, and it was not fun. Because, like, hold on, how am I gonna... It's like, okay, so I'm gonna have to break away dirt and then go from, like, that. But that was done a few days ago. And this is just, like, sort of a case of a bunch of storage, just in case, a crafting table furnace, along with what I like, and it's more of a recent like to this, is a nice sort of, like, a lava floor with glass sort of over it. That way it brightens up the room and you don't really need lights, and the only really dark area, and I'm kind of tempted to do a similar thing. You've got the concrete floor, And you do have the nice little pool, so a little pool area that goes all the way down. I didn't want to completely get rid of this because I could potentially make it into some sort of like safety tunnel, like an escape route or something. Don't really need one, but I could. My little chair. I had some spare. I had like a bit of iron. Like again, iron wasn't a problem, so I was like, you know what? I prefer when you can actually sit in chairs. And you can. You look a lot more lower down, but like this kind of looks about right. And then, of course, I had to go and give myself a throne, which I believe they are grey. And honestly, guys, this is like one of my proudest things. It gives me more like I could have turned this into a proper room. I kind of felt like this was a bit more what I wanted. Like I just wanted a nice little room, and that's what I got. Over there will be the villager training room, which I will be in that episode. Over there is going to be not my armory, but where I can display some armor sets. I probably will have like storage boxes where I've just got spare sets of iron armor, spare sets of like diamond, and all that. Also, guys, I did as decorations. I was going to do it on both, but didn't really have the room. I did put mangrove shells up. I do actually have a couple of mangrove trees, and bone mill's not a problem. And I also use them as a bit of a decoration around here. This room thing took me like 3 or 4 different attempts until I was fully happy with it because there's one attempt where like the stairs are like here, a different attempt where these weren't here, and eventually I just start like I basically just kept adding and I sort of taken away, and it's like yeah, I'm happy with that. But guys, I was like getting back to what I naturally gonna say. I was like, okay, I need snow, so I was using my Silk Touch shovel on snow layers, on actual snow, and it's like, why the hell am I not getting snow? It's like, oh. I also did get a bit more birch wood. I don't know whether that's going to be enough. And I am sort of wasting... Let's say I am sort of wasting more time because I'm waiting for bricks to finish smelting. Because I was like, hold on, wait a minute. That gets me about 4 stacks. So I'll just go and grab another 16. And... But yeah, so I was like, okay, I'm going to need snowballs because I'm going to need to be able to actually make snow. But then I was like, okay, I might actually want like snow layers just to sort of add depth. And like technically speaking, I could just use snow layers and make it look like some areas that, like and essentially have it a slightly bit lower, but I wanted to go with the more normal look, and that's what I went with. But also, guys, other news: the reason why I'm now carrying a second diamond pickaxe. I had a brief moment where I was like, I need a diamond pickaxe. I found some debris. I was like, okay, I'll quickly pop back, make a diamond pickaxe. It's fine. Because it's literally just a case of like everything's in there, so I wasn't like thinking, wasn't paying much attention. Turns out, yep, I already had one, and they're about the same amount of damage too. Like this is the slightly lesser damaged one, but the reason I'm now carrying one is too expensive. And guys, I will say now, anytime it is too expensive, what I do is I do double check like how expensive it actually is going to cost, because too expensive is I think anything over like 30-40 levels. I think it's actually no, I think it's anything over 100. I think, and last time I checked, It was one of them. One of them was like 130 like XP points, which I do not have. But at the same point, it would have been nice to have the option of being able to do it. Also, guys, the reason why I haven't basic is the armory is potentially something I might do in 2 episodes. The village trading is because I've never properly made one, and I will probably end up just watching a guide. And so I basically just want to sort of be able to fully focus on it and like sort of, you know, do it that way instead of needing to focus on like making it, talking, all that lot. So that'll probably get done in between episodes. Also, guys, I'm not 100% sure whether I have enough netherite, because I've been getting a load from that. But like, guys, normally it's like 4 nether bricks, which wouldn't be too much of a problem. It then becomes a lot more cheaper, but then you also need a different resource. So I'm going to see where I can get up to. And to start with, I'm going to start by trying to finish the dock axe, because they deserve someone proper. Did I exactly get... I'll take it? But yeah, so guys, the snow golems, why... It's not the perfect solution. They have, like I basically just did need somewhere that was big enough and roomy enough that... And that became unpredictable. Okay, yeah, gonna need like another stack, maybe 2. Also, guys, on other news, I've managed to finish watching 2 shows back to back. Like, I started watching a new show this morning. Already finished it. Well, finished season 1. There were like 2 other seasons, but it was a Korean show, so I couldn't. Because quite frankly, why I had no problem watching My Hero Academy in Japanese, I had subtitles on. No chance in hell I was doing that via it. I have limits, and those limits were I want to actually be able to understand what's going on. And guys, the show in this case was Metal Carbots, because I've seen a bunch of stuff to do with it, and I was like, I'm a big fan of Transformers. I kind of looks interesting, and you know what? It is a decent show. Kind of wish it, like, I get like it is more kid focused, and I'm not blaming them for doing it. But at the same point, it was like, just enough. And overall, a pretty decent show. One of those shows where it's like, I wish I could watch season 2. If I was willing to watch it in Korean, I could. If I understood Korean, I'd have no problem. But I do not understand Korean, so not gonna happen. Also, guys, for the walls, I'm thinking basically just taking them up to that and then calling it. Because why I think it's kind of mean to essentially have the dogs being right next to another stuff. I don't think it's that bad. Also, I know for a fact I'm gonna have to go and get more birch. I'm basically just putting it off for like another, like, I'm putting it off for a tiny little bit. Plus, when this does run out, I will basically just go to working on the nether side of it. Also, guys, the other show that I finished watching for like, I say the billionth time, was a show called Jane the Virgin, and it's a show about this girl, about this woman who gets artificially inseminated, who is never, who's a virgin, and it's kind of fun because for the first it's got 5 seasons. For the first 3 seasons, it full on goes along that length because she's religious and she doesn't believe in doing it before marriage. More specifically, she's got a really religious grandmother who very much is a case of you shouldn't. Now, at this point in time, I plan to basically go this high. Like, I plan to go that high. But then that's just the top of another portal, so yeah, I 100% will be going higher. Because I at least want one space from the nether portal. Okay, so yeah, 100% going to that, right, that's good to know. But yeah, so guys, I've basically gone through a few shows that like within the last couple of weeks. Although, guys, one thing I will say about the show, the Show Jane the Virgin show, it changes characters at the beginning. You don't necessarily get like. There's a character called Petra who starts off in season 1 as a literal bitch. Like, if she was to get shot in season 1 and potentially some of season 2, like you would not care. Like for the most part, because we first get introduced to her as someone she's like someone who doesn't care the fact that she's married, and as willingly, essentially, I don't want to willingly cheating, kind of just openly doing it. I might actually have enough. When trying to essentially get everything into my inventory a lot quicker, it'd be a lot handier if I was actually, clicking on the right block. Guys, it's called pick block. When I can actually speak today. Basically, I saw a Minecraft YouTuber was using it years ago, and my mind was instantly like, why am I not using it? And my first thought was, oh, yeah, it's going to only be useful in, like, creative mode and all that lot. And no, it's a lot useful when, like, you're building and, like, you're using, like, for instance, this, I'm using, like, a loaded red nether brick, and it is super useful. When you put into consideration that either that's gained levels and evolved, or it can. That's nice to know. Now, I am thinking I probably will need more. Because I don't think 4 stacks are going to be enough. And guys, it's why whenever I know I'm going to be building out of, like, cobblestone or, like, stone-related stuff, or anything that I know for a fact can be used in the stone color, or hope can, uh, Stonecut is like one of the first things I make, or will be one of those things that's like, yeah, I'm investing in this because it saves resources. The bridges I made on the old world, basically, guys, I refer to it as this old world as there's four of us. A mate started up a realm, so all four of us could basically continue to play Minecraft because we've had several worlds. A couple people have set up worlds, and the one problem's come is people have wanted to play Minecraft, wanted to go onto the world when other people haven't been wanted to, and people have basically given up in the end and just gone, yeah, sure. So in the end, this mate was just like, I'll set up a realm, it's fine, because he usually has like an Ark server up. And guys, trust me when I say this, if there are say 5 or 6 of you that want to play Ark, and you all don't mind us, I don't know how much servers are on Ark. I can't remember how much realms are on Minecraft. But like, if you know for a fact that there's going to be a small group here, even if it is just 2 people, I honestly recommend getting a server on Ark over doing it host wise. Because guys, essentially doing Ark as a anything as a literal without a server up when you've got multiple people, you basically, because it's the way I started playing Ark, a mate set up a world, and one, you don't always have access to the world, and you need that mate, you need whoever sets it up to be online and playing Ark. At least on PlayStation, and I believe Xbox. I don't know if it's the same for PC, I imagine it would be. Um, it is literally just finishing this. Also, guys, one problem with basically relying on a mob spawner, not mob spawner, a mob farm as a general XP farm and using it a good bit, and only having one set of double storage of chests, you run out of room very quickly. This is like the second to third time that I've had to empty that chest, and basically, but when emptying it, when basically waiting for mobs to spawn in, I was like, yeah, I don't need all these bows. Like mine, I'm gonna put a very few simple things on, and even then, I'm tempted to basically just make a new bow. Now, I'm hoping I have enough after this. And guys, because I don't exactly know what I want to do with the lights. I will probably, I will 100, I say probably, I will 100% be doing them in between episodes. Just because I don't know what I want to do with them. I'm an idiot. I was like, why can't I, and it's like, hold on, wait a minute, stripped counters. I honestly did think I'd have enough. Did I do? Yes, I did. And guys, by the fact I thought I'd have enough, quickly just make tiny little make. I still need to be able to get up here, and quite frankly, making a makeshift platform helps in the long haul. So, guys, we're back, and got a decent bit of stack, and I kind of went overboard with XP. I also grabbed some more bone meal while I was up there. I was like, there's not going to be enough. I ended up getting like 45 out of it, which roughly works out as, I think I grabbed an additional 5 pieces. I should be able to do basic math, and I can. It's just right now it's late. Like, guys, there are sometimes when I'm recording where, because I record late, I will be recording until I will start recording at something like 9:30, and then I won't be getting done till like 12, half 12. And this is one of those cases where I started recording like about 9:30. It's now 11:30 UK time, so I basically want to spend a good few hours just hunting. Because, guys, my problem with grinding on any game, and the exact same when it comes to Pokemon, is it gets boring very quickly. You are doing the exact same thing over and over for hours. Which is why when anyone's like, oh, why did the XP share have to get added in X and Y? One, yeah, I would do agree, it does make those games a lot easier because it was not balanced. Come Sword and Shield, because I can't remember if it was balanced in uh, Gen 7, I think it was, but it comes like Sword and Shield, it is a lot more balanced. And because of things like the XP share existing, I don't have to spend hours grinding all my Pokemon up to like level 60. Because, guys, typically, Pokemon games have the league, the league, the Elite Four, and the champion battle as between like level 60 and level 70, which means I typically try and get my Pokemon to about 65, depending on what league. I will basically typically do one run through as with like level 60, and then properly go through with proper movesets, all that lot. But like, guys, I've basically for the last couple of videos basically been trying to get this sort of exact image for a thumbnail. And I'm happy to say, for the most part, you can't really tell with the roof, but it is done. I see. Part of me wants to do stone. Part of me's like, no. No, no, and no. It's gonna look horrible. It's gonna look more like it blends in way too well, and quite frankly, the dogs deserve something so much better. But I don't know what. Um, 100% gonna need a lot more. I'm gonna go with Acacia. I think it's gonna look nice. And quite frankly, I'm trying to essentially chuck myself out my comfort zone. Because, guys, on one part, I could full on do this all the way up here, have them both blocked off. But in the same part, I like basically being able to walk through either door and be like, I've got options. Now, annoyingly, there was a very annoying portal to deal with, and I need my axe. Now, this does actually somewhat brighten the room up a bit more. The only annoying thing is, I don't know what lights I want to do. Like, part of me's like, just go for lanterns. But another part of me is like, do I want to go for lanterns? Now, I have a tiny bit of vacation left. No, I'm going to need more. Well, I'll be popping to the tree farm. We then move that to there. And we then grab that. See, I would go and raid the rest of my acacia, but I'm going to need a lot more. I'm going to need, like, at least 2 trees worth. And I, quite frankly, don't have that much. Jungle I have a decent bit of. But guys, what I will say now is this looks great. Like, this looks really cool. Why I might have used strip birch for the floor and then instantly using it again for this room. Out of 2 different contexts, this more looks like a light wood sort of texture. So my house wasn't a one-to-one of his, but it was just sort of like, a oak wood glass sort of building. Granted, didn't have access to everything that I did now, but back then I was still new to the game. It wasn't my only house I built on that world. What I would say is my definitive house is a more of a mansion style build that I then did later go and make. Um, but I've never had a particular build that I've been. This is what my house would look like. Now, while you still can, it does look so much more nicer. And the thing I like is how the the stone stairs just look as it sort of just goes into the ceiling. And I do really like it. I've got to say, I like this house has gone from. You know what? No, the door can stay open. It's gone from me being like, okay, I can do Bella to this is Bella. Like, this is 100% one of my better builds. Like, I look at my house and I think, a few different things. One, I think this small little build then went onto this. Also, guys, depending on if it comes to you, this should be fine. Like, you can literally see it from there, and this should be further enough over. But, like, this is what I consider my more peak builds. And it's one of those cases where I look back, and I said at the beginning, it's like, it's just a temporary build, it's just what I've got to access to. But, like, I've used trapdoors for a few different things. Like, I've used them to, like, make sort of, like, office sort of, like, side little doors. By that, I simply do mean why, because you've got, like, this little tiny little sort of door that you have to go through to get into, like, a building or something. I've used them for that. I've used them to set traps. I've used them for things like that before. See, this is what I mean, like, I've used them in builds. Like, guys, this is literally, quite frankly, 2 trapdoors and a stair just sort of blocking that, just so it looks more like a chair. Like, I've got to some point where I use blocks, not for intended purposes, because the other day who would. Like, most people wouldn't have then built that because it's covered, it's fine. I wanted it to be proper. But, guys, in between episodes, I'm going to try, because I know for a fact I'm going to need more. And then the two other maps, Valguero, the one that released before Valguero, I can't think what it's called. Well, if it was on Survival Evolved, it was via mods, which meant I never played on Survival Evolved. And on Valguero, there was a space that was basically right below sort of where the Deinonychus eggs are. Like, you got the little area for the Deinonychus eggs, and there was this little space that was, ginormous, open, and I built a ginormous base on Survival Evolved. I wasn't able to do it on Survival Ascent because it was made, I think, smaller. Or, like, it didn't feel as big, and so I was like, okay, I won't. Instead, an area, like, right near to, right, essentially looking over the ocean, I built a ginormous base. One of my biggest. I also kind of went nuts on raptors and kind of was like, you know what would be fun? Having 3 absent raptors named after currently my favourite movie. And yes, I did name 3. I did name 1 Rumi, 1 Zoe, 1 Mira. And I did try and colour match them via an add-on. Now, did it make sense to do all 3 of them aberrant raptors because of the patterns? No. Do I prefer the aberrant raptors because do I prefer aberrant creatures because they look a bit cooler? Yes. But I did that, and like Valkyria on Survival Ascent has, made me love Ark. Now, the current new map, I have not played that much of. It's a snowy bits area, which I'm not that fussed about surviving in the snow. I briefly did it with a bit of a starter kit because on Genesis Part 1. But I've not played that much of it because Ark Survival Ascent to me has not been as great. Like, I didn't instantly go, oh my god. Now, my predictions for Survival Ascent Genesis Part 1, Part 2 locations. One of my Genesis locations probably won't get affected. I've more than once built in the ocean on Genesis Part 1. Ginormous platform, ocean platform. I basically a few times gave myself an ocean platform at the beginning, and basically built on one. But my most recent was up in the snow, and I don't know that exact location. So I'm going to say my Genesis locations probably won't be fucked with. Because I'm going to presume I'm going to still be able to find a nice area in the snow. And without going back and double checking base locations, I have no idea where my location was, and that would mean jumping back into Survival Evolved, and I don't fancy doing that. Now, Genesis Part 1, Part 2 even, I did have a very nice area in the sort of, I want to say, because there's several different zones on Part 2. Same for Part 1, you have the ocean, the Arctic, the volcano, the swamp, and then space. You have a few different on Part 2. And on Part 2, there was this nice little bit of water underneath this little thing with these metal platforms just sort of going down. I built a very nice base there and just sort of took over that mini area. And I don't know whether that's going to get changed, I have no idea. But same again. Survival Ascent is giving me new reasons to find new base locations, and do I still prefer my old ones? Some of them. But at the same point, I've also found new ones that have been really good. But anyway, guys, that's both of those. That's both the doghouse and the nether portal room done. This does need to be lit up, and what I will be doing is lanterns. No, annoyingly, I'm probably going to have to, basically have the dirt underneath. So what I probably will end up doing is having slabs under each 4 corners, and then doing say one there, and then same on the other side to them, and doing them like that, and having them hang down. Now, next time we will quite simply be building the lab. Hopefully, and if we're not building the lab next time because I've not gone and got enough quartz, I will basically just be going to the nether to explore. It'll be one of those two things. It'll either be nether exploration or building a lab. Because I've really, at the minute, got into enjoying Craftymon. It's just brought me a load of fun back, and it's brought me reasons to actually enjoy Minecraft. Hopefully, next week, guys, hopefully, there'll be new Monster Hunter content. It depends. When I say now, my intentional plan for tonight was to literally go and, record for an hour and a half, get it all done, and then go straight to hunting for about 2-3 hours, and then go to sleep. Yeah, no, that's instantly being fucked with. And instead, what I will end up doing is probably going to go try and get a few more quartz in the nether. Now that I do have a decent pickaxe. I might also try and enchant a few bits of armor. And I'll also probably will try and make a village. But before I do that, I do want mending. Which is the only reason. Like, I will happy enough have one villager in that whole area and have him just roam around if he's going to give me mending. Mending and Thorns 3, because getting Thorns 3 was a pain. I did it with 2 Thorns. Literally, all pieces of armor, 2 Thorns 2 books. Like, there's like 6 Thorns 2 books that I've had to use. Can you get it very enchanted? I have no idea. If so, I've just been really unlucky. But again, you can get it via combining books, so either way. Guys, hope you have enjoyed today's episode. If you are new around here, please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you're enjoying about the series. And I'll see you next time. This is Tigress signing off. Bye.